The Argos are on the mend this week after dropping a close one at number 20 Delta State. Coach Shinnick is here to review it and look ahead to Saturday's matchup with Shorter. Get your questions in. He answers them coming up. On the Hardwood, the volleyball team hosts their annual Packet Pink match this weekend. A special day for head coach Melissa Walter. She explains. Plus, both basketball teams are practicing for encores to great seasons. It's all here. This is the Coach Shinnick Show on the UWF Sports Network. Welcome into the Coach Shinnick Show. So much to get to this week after a really difficult loss to Delta State. With head coach Pete Shinnick, I'm Tommy Thrall. Coach, great to have you on. I mean, that's a heartbreaker on Saturday. It looked like you were right there. You had him where you wanted, and then it just got away. What's your reaction to the game like that?
Well, first off, really excited about how our guys played throughout the course of the game. Obviously, to have a lead in the fourth quarter and then to relinquish it, you know, they score a touchdown and then we give up the block field goal. Just tough set of circumstances. Really liked how our guys played. Really liked, you know, everything about the last drive except for the last play. Felt like our guys fought, you know, the entire 60 minutes. We told them it was going to be a 60-minute football game. We told them we needed their focus. We needed their energy. The things that, you know, we asked of them, they gave us. We just, you know, had some unfortunate plays there that turned the tide for us.
I know you don't want to look at the what-ifs because it's the worst thing in the world. But is it difficult to look at that game and know, all right, this is a top 25 team, number 20 in the nation, could be a top 10 team. We win this game. Now all of a sudden the conversation's there about the top part of the conference, playoffs, rankings, all that stuff. I mean, that's difficult to kind of put out of your head, isn't it?
Well, it is, but I mean, that's part of conference play. And, you know, I think what you saw this weekend in college football was, you know, a lot of teams that were upset. And, you know, the top 10 in, you know, FBS got shuffled around quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, we still feel like there's a lot of season in front of us. We've got, 4 games in front of us that if we take care of business, you know, we'll see where we are after that.
And certainly still plenty to get to. Let's take a look at the highlights from this one. It was a beautiful day for football out at Blue Wahoo Stadium. The Argos in their green with the blue pants, but it was Delta State that struck first, that little 4-yard touchdown run to put them up 7-0.
Yeah, you know, we had some opportunities. They converted a ton of third downs and, you know, really wasn't quite sure where it was going. But, you know, we get the ball back and Mike Beaudry throws a great pass right here. And really exciting to see Carlos come down with that thing. And then the next play, go to Karan Ashley. Great catch, great throw.
And then it would be Jalen Spencer intercepting this pass. Big interception. Turnovers you felt like were going to be key in this game.
No, we did, and we ended up on the plus side and really did a great job. Jalen really has been fantastic. Not many people have thrown to Jalen much, and when they do, I think they're seeing what can happen. Great to get Leroy. Again, he's been a burst of energy for us. He brought a lot of life. O-line blocked that thing perfectly, but Leroy really read it and did a fantastic job.
Chris Schwartz doesn't fumble much.
He doesn't. I was trying to figure it out, and I had to see on the film exactly what took place because their guy really, you know, just ripped it out of him. That's a rarity right there.
Overall, you did a pretty good job against their run defense. They're just able to break a few plays. That one downfield went for big yardage, and then they'd run it in. But overall, as good as they are on the ground, did you feel pretty good about where you guys were against them?
Oh, I felt great. I really did. You know, I mean, here's causing a fumble right here. You know, the long pass that we just saw was kind of an anomaly for the game. Get a chance to see Austin Williams make a couple field goals here. He has just been fantastic for us. I mean, kicking from 40, 50, whatever we've asked. You know, we go in at halftime and we feel good about where we're at.
And then second half, Caleb Robinson really came alive in the third quarter.
He did. We were able to get him matched up a little bit. We were hoping to get some one-on-one matchups with him and some of their safeties, and that worked out well. Mike did a good job getting him the ball, taking, you know, long pass, then a short pass. Caleb turns the short pass into a ton of yardage, and, you know, we're off and running.
And then this 53-yard reception here. He made some moves in the secondary to pick up big yardage.
No, he did. Caleb has just, came in and played as a true freshman last year, just continues to get better, continues to move in the right direction. And then, that just kind of shows you how good, Chris is, scooping up a ball on the ground. And then, this block, this was the last thing that I thought would take place was, they're going to block it. I felt like Austin would have it. We had a poor block up front, came back to haunt us.
And then at the end of the game, time running down, moving the ball downfield, great drive at the end. Tip ball still goes for a big catch over the middle, and then just a nightmare on this play at the end.
Nightmare. Mike wasn't ready, and really I think he tried to do a little too much. I mean, he should have just, fallen on the ball there. And, that's a learning lesson for him as he goes through, and grows and experiences different things. Still would have had 10 seconds, opportunity to maybe get a first down. We would have had to use a timeout. So it would have been a little dicey, but it would have been better than not having the ball at all.
And there was a design to that play. I mean, they had a guy jump. You're trying to catch him off sides there, right?
Yeah, and what happened is, Devin Gibson was just a little slow with that reaction time. Their guy was offsides for a moment, but the way the rule reads is if you don't snap it while he's in the neutral zone, then he's free to do that.
A lot of good things from this game. The defense played very well against one of the best offenses in the league. And on top of that, you threw the ball really well. That's something you talked about earlier before we started taping. West Alabama had difficulty doing that. You guys threw well downfield. There were some drop balls that proved to be costly in this game, though.
There were, and there's areas that we got to improve. I mean, I think both, Mike and the receivers, sit here today and go, wow, we left a lot on the field. Jamie Deese and our offensive staff really did a great job of designing, I think, a great game plan to put us in position where we felt like we could have some success that other people hadn't. We saw some things in their defense that we felt like we could expose and take advantage of. They are a very good defensive team and, one of the top rushing defenses in the country. But we felt like there were some areas that, we could work on. And, for a while it was working and we were taking advantage of it. But you just can't leave, the type of plays that we had out there. Balls dropped in the end zone, overthrown passes that could be touchdowns. Those are things that if we're going to be the team we want to be, we've got to get.
And is there, once the sting of a game like that wears off, do you start to look at it and go, okay, the mistakes that cost us in this game are things we can improve on. We're on the verge of being a really good football team because just look at the way Mike did. I mean, you talked about it. He missed some guys, but he still threw for 354 yards, so a big game for him. So still, as good as you are, there's still room for growth.
Most definitely. And, I mean, what I told our team is I feel like we got better last week as a football team. We improved. I felt like, I told them at Mississippi College, we won, but I don't know that we got, we made as much improvement as we made at Delta State. And so, we've got a lot to improve upon, but I like how hungry this team is right now and the desire that they've put forth so far this week to go out and get better.
I certainly think the defense deserves some credit. We'll talk a little bit more about them as we go along. Still plenty to get to. We check in on volleyball and both hoop squads before we welcome Argo receiver Caleb Robinson. Next, this is the Coach Shinnick Show on the UWF Sports Network.
We will never settle for the kiddie pool. We are destined for the vast ocean of opportunities that await us. We were born to make a splash. At the University of West Florida, you can make a discovery, make a difference, make a splash. So take a deep breath and dive in. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Codify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
If you're not in control, then who is? Live above the influence.
And welcome back to the Coach Shinnick Show. The Argo women's basketball team made a historic run to the Elite Eight last season. Deepest the West Florida Hoops squad has ever been into the postseason. This week, they started their journey back with the first official practice. Stephanie Lawrence Yelton's team will try to fill the void left by graduating All-American point guard Alex Coyne, now a member of Yelton's staff. With plenty of key pieces returning, including All-American Tony Brewer, Yelton has plenty of confidence in her team, picked second in the GSC.
The first day of practice is always exciting. The players are always anxious to get on the floor. The coaches are ecstatic about getting on the floor. It's time to really start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. The goal of our team ultimately is win a national championship at some point, and we know we came very close last year but fell short, and this year's team is about bringing new players to the team who can help elevate our play to that level.
Jeff Berkhammer's men's team also got back to work with official practices starting this week. Like the women, his team is also coming off a strong campaign, the biggest turnaround in GSC history specifically. They won 20 games after just 7 the year before. After just missing out on the program's first ever trip to the NCAA tournament, this year's edition is picked to finish 5th in the conference. Berkhammer's fine with it and optimistic about his team's future.
Just barely missed by a possession of making the NCAA tournament. So that's kind of our base to where we want to build from. We just got to keep getting better, continue to bring in good players, finding ways to get guys to play well together. And unfinished business is on the back of one of our T-shirts. The importance of one possession is on the back of one of our T-shirts. So they have constant reminders of how close we were, and hopefully that gives them a little fuel to go ahead and find a way to maybe take that next step.
Argo volleyball coach Melissa Walters, a breast cancer survivor. So this weekend's annual Packet Pink match is something that hits very close to home for her.
Walter was diagnosed in October of 2006 with stage 2 breast cancer, eventually beating it 5 months later. Now cancer-free for 11 years, the Packet Pink match is always an emotional reminder of her journey.
First year we did it was the year I was diagnosed, but no one knew. And so obviously it has a very significant meaning to me and to everybody that was with me when I went through the battle. When we first decided to do this event, it was kind of the bare bones of let's see if we can give out free t-shirts, let's see if we can do the pink jerseys. And then each year it just kind of grew, and we decided we wanted to be the best.
Mission accomplished. It's raised over $50,000 for the Pensacola Breast Cancer Association.
Even our alumni send texts and pictures of them in their jerseys on the day of the event. So it's a very special day for me, and I'm definitely proud that we built it to be what it is, but it's not about me. It's about trying to raise awareness and trying to find a cure for this awful disease.
On the court, the match always seems to mean a little more.
I love the fact that our players take this match personally, whether it's for me or for somebody they know and love, family members, friends who have battled this type of disease. I think it just helps them find a new level of the game. My staff convinced me, you have all these great people in the gym, they deserve a great volleyball match, and so they will get a great volleyball match once again this year on Saturday.
There are items currently up for bid at GoArgos.com. The match is Saturday at 3 against West Alabama. Donations will be accepted at the door. Argo sophomore receiver Caleb Robinson is having a fine season. He's coming off a career day Saturday. He led the team with 6 receptions for a career best 157 yards. Number 17 is in studio and joins us now. Caleb, thanks for being on with us. How you been?
I've been good. Just got out of class or whatever.
Oh, good. Well, that's good. Got to go to class. Philosophy class, right?
Yes, sir.
What's going on there?
I think it's just one of my prereqs that I have to take.
Okay.
I'm taking calculus, understanding relationships, which is like a marriage class.
Wow.
Yeah, and microeconomics.
So you are ready for a strong marriage when you're ready to pop the question, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. It's important. Apparently, I didn't know that was a thing. Who knew? Have you learned anything exciting in philosophy yet?
We're just right now understanding how the mind works. So it's kind of interesting. We're just going through thought processes and the way the brain works right now.
Is your mind blown yet?
Yes, sir.
Good. Well, that means they're doing their job. Let's talk football. A little less mind-blowing for you. Big game on Saturday. You were targeted a lot in that third quarter. Did you know, coming out of the locker room, coming out of halftime, hey, I'm going to take things over here in the third quarter, or did you just run some good routes and get open?
Honestly, I had no idea that they were going to target me as much as they did. I was just trying to put myself in the best position to take advantage of the opportunities that were given to me. So I ran my routes, and Mike found me. So
it certainly looked like you and Mike were in pretty good sync there too.
Yes, sir. There were a couple drives where he just kept throwing the ball to me consecutively, and I just kept making things happen.
It's got to be a good feeling.
Yes, sir.
Especially after you were able to make things happen after you got the ball in your hands. I remember the one catch in particular. I think it went for about 50 yards. Made a lot of moves in the secondary. What's going through your mind on a play like that, or is that just all reaction?
I've been playing since I was about 3 years old, so a lot of those scenarios have happened to me before. So I run my route and I catch the ball, and I know the safety's coming down, so I kind of throw him by me, and then by that time the corner was kind of over pursuing, so I kind of set him up and planted, and then when I got outside, I was so tired. That's why they ran me down.
Well, you'd had a few catches at that point too, so
yes,
I'm sure you were a little exhausted. Talk about where this team's at. You talk about being tired on that particular play, and I'll ask Coach Pete this coming up. But it seems like, from a physical standpoint, you guys are in a lot better shape now than you were at this point a year ago.
Most definitely. Coming into last year, we were very young and unexperienced. We were kind of the little brother of the conference, kind of got beat around a little bit. But this year we have a lot higher expectations, and we went into spring conditioning and did our workouts, and summer conditioning we had a lot of guys stay and get in the weight room and stuff. So coming into this year, I thought we were a lot stronger and faster, and we had a lot more experience.
Well, it certainly paid off to this point. You guys seem like you continue to get better week to week. Obviously, that's a tough loss against Delta State. Take us through the emotion, what that sting feels like for you guys.
It was definitely a hard one to swallow. It was kind of the same thing that happened to us last year. We were up most of the game, and then right at the end of the game, they just slipped out of our reach. But, what we talked about in the locker room is we're not going to let this beat us up. We're going to take this and turn it into a learning lesson and carry what we learned from that game into the rest of the season, because we're not out of the playoffs yet. If we went out, we're in a really good position to make it to the postseason. So we're just going to take what we learned from this game and play the rest of the season with good energy.
And you've got a big one coming up this weekend to bounce back against Shorter. Good luck in that one, all right?
Thank you.
All right, Caleb,
yes, sir.
Caleb Robinson joining us this week on the show. The Argos have to put Saturday behind them and soldier on. That happens Saturday on the road against the Shorter Hawks. We discuss it with Coach Pete next. This is the Coach Shinnick Show on the UWF Sports Network.
We are not here to drift. We were born to move, to change, to jump in, dive deep, make waves, break through. We were born to splash. The University of West Florida is America's best university for making a splash. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Welcome back to the Coach Shinnick Show. The Argos return to the field this weekend in Rome, Georgia. They will do so with the reigning GSC Freshman of the Week. Quarterback Mike Beaudry, officially a redshirt freshman, was recognized after tossing for a career-best 354 yards while going 22 for 47 through the air with a touchdown. The yardage is second best in the GSC this season. On special teams, it was kicker Austin Williams hauling in the honor for the third time this year. He booted a school record 51-yard field goal late in the second quarter before closing out the opening half with a 48-yarder. And all, he tied his own school record with 4 field goals.
on the night. We welcome back in head coach Pete Shinnick as we look ahead to Shorter this weekend. Before we get into that, I do want to continue to talk about the defense from Saturday, because I don't think it can be overstated how good that Delta State team is and how well your defense played.
Well, Delta, we think, is one of the best offenses around. They're physical. They're going to find ways to run the ball. You know, we shut down their running back, so they started running their quarterback. Just to be able to put, you know, the reigning, you know, GSC Offensive Player of the Year running back and, you know, hold him under to 60 yards. It's just a huge accomplishment. I mean, it really is. Our guys, I think you saw a great tackling team. I think you saw a team in position to make plays. And really, we showed a couple of clips there where we were out of position. They ran 90 snaps on offense. I'd say we were in position the majority of the time.
The offense has been there. Obviously, you talked about earlier the things to clean up, but that'll happen. Those will get cleaned up. Now the defense needed to take that step this year. You really have to feel like where you're at right now as a program, you're right on the cusp of being one of the conference's elite. And if you're one of the conference's elite, you start to creep up into that national conversation.
Well, you do. I mean, we've always felt if we can compete and compete well in the Gulf South Conference, which is, you know, for us is winning a game like this. We've got to win a game where we go toe-to-toe with somebody and then come out with a victory. You know, we did that last year at Florida Tech, and that was the only one we did. We found a way to beat Florida Tech this year, but, you know, this was a win that I felt like could give us the opportunity to take the next step. Again, proud of how we played. Defense, I think, you know, we told them at the end of the game, you tackle like that, you fly around to the ball like that, you can play with anybody in the conference.
You want that sting to stick around for a couple more weeks, don't you?
Well, I want our guys to realize what their best is and what that looks like. And, you know, we've talked since the beginning of fall camp that, you know, our best will keep us in games. That takes great energy. That takes great excitement. That takes great focus. I want them to know that if they do that, we're going to have an opportunity to win football games moving forward.
Well, you can't overlook Shorter this weekend. They've got a long losing streak, but they've got a pretty formidable combination of their quarterback, Tyler Pullum, and Lewis Hayes seems to be pretty good as well. When you look at this Shorter team, what do you see?
Well, it's a team that, you know, both staffs have been watching them for the last couple weeks because we've played a lot of people. So the offensive staff has watched Shorter play everybody that we've played, defensive staff. We got a pretty good feel for them. You know, they're a team that at you know, 0-7, you know, are going to come in and try to find a way to get a victory. Very scary opponent sometimes because they'll do anything and they'll do whatever they need to just to find a way to get a victory.
Plus, it's homecoming, so you know they're a little extra keyed up for that as well.
Should be.
Well, we'll see how it all plays out. Coach Shinnick is back to take your questions when we're your turn. This is the Coach Shinnick Show on the UWF Sports Network.
The world is our ocean, and we are here to make a splash, to dive deep, to create, to develop, to break through. At the University of West Florida, there's no limit to how you can make a splash. Don't just sit on shore, jump in. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to the Coach Shinnick Show. Coach will answer your questions in a moment, but first, let's get an injury update. How do you feel you guys are after a big physical game like that against Delta State?
Really pleased with you know, the way our team looks and the way they're moving around. You know, Kent Morgan and his staff have done a great job in the weight room getting our guys to where they are right now. You know, compare and contrast from a year ago. You walk into the Delta State locker room. You know, we're at their place after the game, and I just see you know, an exhausted, worn out team going, okay, you know, we still got games left. What's it going to look like? This year, I mean, we're a much different group. I mean, we're obviously a year older, mature, bigger, stronger. Excited about this push that we're getting ready to make for the last 4 games of the regular season.
How much do you attribute that to growth, development, and just depth as well? I mean, is it a combination of all those things?
It is. We're able to play. We're able to play more people. We're able to, get more guys in and take less reps off of guys. I think you saw that with their secondary, really being exhausted. And our wide receivers, running fresh. I think Jamie Deese, rotated in 9 wide receivers and really kept them fresh throughout the course of the whole game.
It's got to make you guys feel a lot better, too, as a staff moving forward.
Oh, you do. I mean, you're not as worried about wearing a guy out. You can now get a few more things done in practice because guys aren't exhausted or you're trying to hold back. I think this time of year, you're always worried about the physicality of it. So we do things a little different and go a little lighter, in some of the physical aspect of practice. But from a leg standpoint, conditioning standpoint, really excited about, where our guys are at.
All right, sounds good. I'm out of questions, so now you get to ask the questions. We continue to get great responses on social media and through GoArgos.com. First up is William in Pensacola. What happened to the blue helmets, he wants to know. He was hoping that you could do some, maybe the same with the green, some sort of green scheme with those helmets.
Well, we went with the white this year, and we planned on having the blue. So it is a great question. Ran into some difficulty with the manufacturers getting the blue helmet back to us. So we will hold them for this year and bring them out next year.
All right, we'll see them back. They'll make their triumphant return next year.
They will return. The blue helmets will return.
Good. They had a nice look to them.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're well aware. Craig in Fairhope. He wants to stay on the subject of building for the future. How does in-season recruiting work? You guys are so busy. It seems like that would be the busiest time of the year, but that's when high school kids are playing. So how do you manage your time to get out and recruit?
Friday night home games, we're out watching local teams or, somebody in the area playing. Saturday home games, we've got a handful of prospects from all across the state, really, and Lower Alabama coming and visiting us on game day. So you're constantly in connection with them. You're constantly talking and really, trying to find out what their level of interest is in us and, get a feel for them and spend some time with them in person while they're at our games.
Is that the hardest thing to balance during the season, is keeping your team focused, but then remembering, we got to keep up with recruiting here?
It is, and you just got to, as each coach, cuts out time in their, schedule to stay connected to the recruits so that they know we're watching, we know that we're interested, and they know that, they're on the top of our recruiting board.
Sounds good. If you have a question you'd like answered, feel free to go to our website. Go to Argos.com and click Ask the Coach on the football page. GoArgos.com is your source for all things Argos. Don't forget, pack it pink for Saturday's volleyball match at the UWF Fieldhouse. Donations for breast cancer are accepted at the door. The swimming and diving team is also at home this weekend in the Swimnasium on Friday and Saturday. Football kicks off at noon. You can listen beginning at 11:30 with the Argo Kickoff Show on Choice 106.9 FM, WRNE 980 AM. For head coach Pete Shinnick and our entire crew, I'm Tommy Thrall. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you again next week on the UWF Sports Network.